IK Multimedia's put out the iRig UA. We're going to compare it to the iRig HD for iOS and see if there's any difference.
RSS bandwidth brought to you by CacheFly.
Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine Think Magazine, put in a geek. You know, for the longest time, IK Multimedia has come up with some very inventive ways for you to run your guitar through your iOS device, whether it be your iPhone or your iPad. And they came up with the iRig, and then of course the iRig HD, which is the unit I have in my hand. It's worked great, and with an app called Amplitube, it worked perfectly. However, Android people had to wait a little while longer simply because of the fact that they couldn't get the connectivity. But now Android made the updates so it is possible to actually run a device through the USB port so you can use it just like you would with an iPhone or iPad. They created the iRig UA, a small device just like with the iRig HD that lets you hook up a guitar or other source into the device, lets you run effects and then back out. Digital effect board, basically, straight from your Android device. So now with your Android you can run with the iRig UA, or with your iOS device you can run with the iRig HD. So that begs the ultimate question, which device should you actually use? What I decided to do was pit it up against phones and the Amplitube software to see which one would work better. So what I have here is I have my Nexus 5 and I have my iPhone 6, and we're going to run software on both of them. We're going to run the devices on both of them and see what happens. First up, the iRig UA. Now this hooks up via the micro USB cable. However, the cable's a little bit special because it's got to have micro USB on both ends. Then of course they give you a cable with it. So you basically plug that cable into the gray box here, and then the other cable goes into your phone. When you plug it into the phone and you turn on your phone, it'll say, hey, it sees the device and would you like to use it? You just have to say okay and then go from there. And then you go into the Amplitube and it'll recognize the device or tell you to reconnect it. And then once you do that, it will work from there. Inside the Amplitube app, you get different types of amplifiers, you get different types of pedals. You can even choose whether it be a condenser or dynamic mic, basically a 57 or a standard condenser microphone. You can put in different pedals, and the free version of the Amplitube software gives you some basic pedals such as delay, such as an overdrive, and a few cabinets to actually work with. So you can have everything from a clean sound for a nice country feel or an acoustic feel, all the way up to a completely fuzzed out, distorted sound, so you can really jam on some tracks. As opposed to the iOS version, of course, this is a little bit smaller because with the iRig UA, you hook your instrument up through here and then the headphones out here. However, with this device, you hook your instrument up here and then the headphones go through the regular headphone jack. This has a special cable to it, lightning on one side, and then of course its own little pin connection over here, which of course you plug into the device right there. So of course that plugs into the phone just like the Android version, except with the lightning cable. You open up the Amplitube software, it recognizes your device. Of course you can register that device through the software, and then you've got the same thing. You can change your cabs, you can choose different types of pedals, pre, post, and go from there. There is some more software that comes on the iOS version, like for instance the connection with other programs such as Loopy. You can bring in drum tracks. You actually have a multi-track recorder. This is software that you will not find on the Android version. Let's talk about how it sounds. Now what I did was I took a clean sound and I took a crunchy sound, and of course this is before any type of in-app purchases were made. Matched them up as best as I could with each other, and of course I pulled out my guitar and then I ran everything through the Android, then the iOS, and this is how it sounds. So as you can see, or actually as you can hear, the sounds are pretty similar. There's a little bit more power coming from the iOS device than it does from the Android device. That's just basically changing and pulling up the volume a little bit. Now, I did a lot of other cool things with it, such as I run an acoustic show every month, and I decided I wanted to hear how this sounds actually on a live system. So instead of bringing a pedal to create a reverb effect, I actually brought the Android with the UA and hooked it up and actually ran the effects through there. Amazing, it sounded pretty darn good. In fact, nobody could tell the difference, and they liked the fact that it had a little bit of reverberation. I could actually put in the delay pedal, I have some other pedals, and of course with in-app purchases, I can add a whole bunch more, from cabinets to microphones to pedals, and get even more sounds. And with the preset area, I can actually create different types of configurations, save them, and have them at the ready. Some downfalls now, and this is actually with both of these devices, sometimes you plug in the iRig and it doesn't configure just right away. Sometimes it'll plug in and it'll configure, but then you go and play something, and with the Android, you won't hear any effects at all. With the iOS device, you won't hear any music at all. Sometimes you have to restart the program or even restart the phone. Now the best thing is once it's on and set and you're ready to go, it won't like turn off or anything like that, unless of course a program crashes inside the unit. Of course, if you want more functionality, then the iOS version is probably where you want to go, because it's got the drum backing track and it's also got a multi-track option to it. But if you just need something to play effects through guitars and not bring all your pedal boards and your amps out, the Android device is perfect for you. Plus, I like the fact that the headphone jack is actually on the unit as opposed to the phone, so I can get this close and have all the cables running here. Both of these, it would have been nice with both of these to have some sort of belt clip or another type of clip to hook on to maybe a stand or something like that. And of course, using the phones are nice, but using tablets are going to give you more retail space, so you can see the pedals a little bit better, so you can see the cab a little bit better. And if you're doing any recording, the buttons are easier to press. You know, it's a bigger screen, so it works bigger from there. One thing to stress is that if you do get an Android tablet, make sure it's a decent tablet, maybe a quad-core processor in running at least 1 gigahertz or something like that. It could probably work on something less than that. However, it's definitely got to run Lollipop on there, any previous versions of Android, and you might be running into some problems. One more thing, I used my electric guitar in this video, but I also hooked it up to my acoustic guitar. I also used it with my ukulele. It all sounded great. Haven't tried running vocals or any other instruments through that, but the digital sound actually is pretty clear, and the frequencies from the high E to low E are doing pretty good, and you don't hear any type of digital distortion or anything like that. That's it. What do you think? Do you own an Android or do you own an iOS device? Do you have the iRig UA or the HD? Let me know. Tell me what you think of these products in the comments below over on youtube.com/Geekazine or over at Geekazine.com, Facebook.com/Geekazine as well. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. My name is Jeffrey Powers. I hope you have a great day. We will see you next time. And until next time, you guys geek out.